Welcome back to Mideast in Depth, part of Levant TV's Press Reviews. Today we will look at a critique on Obama policy in the Middle East. Michael Young writes an article in Beirut's Daily Star. He looks into Obama avoiding what he calls multifaceted entanglement. The reversals suffered by the Islamic State, formerly the Islamic State of Iraq and Greater Syria, at Mosul Dam has raised exaggerated expectations about the ability to defeat the group. Michael Young believes the Islamic State will remain a major headache, even as there is still no comprehensive strategy in place to defeat it. He adds much has been made of the Obama administration's military intervention in defense of the Kurdish areas. Only when Erbil was threatened did Washington deploy its aircraft. That's only partly true. He adds turning back to the Islamic State in the north was as much a priority for Iraqis in Baghdad and Basra as for those in Kurdistan. Then he says the real question is not why the United States entered the fray. It is where the campaign to defeat the Islamic State is going. Until now, there have been only haphazard signs of what the US administration intends to do, with President Barack Obama hesitating to outline the specifics of a sustained campaign for fear it may turn the American public against him. Young concludes that American administrations shy away from multifaceted entanglements. The focus is now on Iraq, only Iraq, but such an approach poses risks, particularly with the Obama administration having failed to define its aims there beyond protecting Americans. Obama may spoil everything if he fails to adequately address the complexity of the situation in Iraq and Syria. Also on the matter, Thomas Friedman, winner of the 2002 Pulitzer Prize for Commentary, writes an article on US policy in the Middle East. He titles it, "Will the Ends or Will the Means?" Hillary Clinton recently reignited the who lost Syria debate when she suggested that President Obama made a mistake in not intervening more forcefully early in the Syrian civil war by arming the pro-democracy rebels. Thomas Friedman says, "I've been skeptical about such an intervention, skeptical that there were enough of these mainstream insurgents, skeptical that they could ever defeat President Bashar al-Assad's army and the Islamists and govern Syria." Friedman addresses questions to anyone who has been involved in the Syria policy. He asks them, can they name the current leader of the Syrian National Coalition, the secular moderate opposition, or the first three principles of its political platform? Extra credit if they can name the last year that the leader of the SNC, Syrian National Coalition, resided in Syria. He gives them a hint, it's several decades ago. The writer then raises the question of Israel. He wonders, can they explain why Israel, a country next door to Syria that has better intelligence on Syria than anyone and could be as affected by the outcome there as anyone, has chosen not to bet on the secular moderate Syrian rebels or arm them enough to topple Assad? The writer then asks, how could the good Syrian rebels have triumphed in Syria when the main funders of so many rebel groups there are Qatar and Saudi Arabia? So how could Sunni fundamentalist monarchies that oppose the very sort of democratic pluralistic politics in their own countries that the decent Syrian rebels aspired to build in Syria? The writer concludes, I don't want US troops in Syria any more than anyone else, but I have no respect for the argument that just arming some pro-democracy rebels would have gotten the job done. Yes, there has been a price for Obama's inaction, but there is a price for effective action as well. And he ends, will the ends or will the means? Otherwise, you're not being serious. That was it for today. For more updates, visit levant.tv. You could also subscribe to Mideast in Depth on iTunes. Thanks for watching and bye for now.